Hi everyone, this is Tamra Sylvester with Awareness Speaks, and today I am going to talk about astrology. We have some strong energy coming into the air, and you might even begin to feel it. We have two eclipses coming up. We have an eclipse December 26th. We have a solar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn, and January 10th we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Cancer. So those are opposite. When there's two eclipses right next to each other, they're in the opposite sign. The moon is usually in the opposite sign. That is a total lunar eclipse. So on this solar eclipse, which is taking place December 26th, we are going to have a stellar amount of planets in the sign of Capricorn. We will also have a stellar amount of planets in the sign of Capricorn on January 10th. But the difference is, on December 26th, we will have Jupiter, who is the planet of expansion, growth, good luck, everything good, will be conjunct, which means in astrology, within 5 to 7 degrees of the same sign. So when planets are in the same sign, zodiac sign, that is a conjunction when they're within 5 to 7 degrees. So you have the sun will be in Capricorn at 4 degrees. You have the moon, and it's a new moon solar eclipse, so it will be in Capricorn as well at 4 degrees. Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, and good luck, everything good, will be in Capricorn at 5 degrees. So Jupiter on December 3rd left Sagittarius, its ruling sign, and moved into the sign of Capricorn. So when it was in the sign of Sagittarius and it's in its regular element, we would have seen expansion. People might have gotten raises. There might have their stock might have increased. In the U.S., everyone thinks Trump did something great for the stock market. No, if there was expansion, a lot of the times it has to do with the planets and the cycles. So, yes, he could have done some things, but usually the cycles that we're in is what brings that real expansion. So Jupiter was there. It was in a fire sign in its natural element, expanding everything it touched, including the stock market. Now it comes into practical Capricorn, which is an earth sign. Not its favorite position, because Jupiter likes to expand. Saturn says, wait, we don't expand until we work. So they go hand in hand, but a lot of times you'll see your rewards delayed with Capricorn. You may have to wait for your satisfaction. With Jupiter in Sagittarius, it can be been instant. People could have won the lottery, things could have happened out of the blue, money could have came out of the blue. With Capricorn, it's more on the practical side. Let's build, let's put structure, and then let's get our gratification. Okay? So, but the great thing is there's a lot of karma with this, going along with this energy. Whatever you put out, Jupiter comes back in and says, I'm going to reward you. So with Jupiter alongside the sun and the moon, you can have a lot of expansion here, especially if you were born around Christmas time or 5 to 7 days before or after. You may see things come out of the blue. And what you want to do is you want to look in your chart to see where this Capricorn is. So here's an astrology chart. See, this is what it looks like. Okay? See all these signs here right now? They're Capricorn, and this is Capricorn. And pretty soon this Capricorn is going to move over here. So wherever it is, all of these houses, these 12 houses, which represent the zodiacs, the 12 zodiac signs, the planets are moving through right now. This is my natal birth chart. They're moving through here, and they all move at a different pace. So to have so many in Capricorn, this is why this energy is so strong and significant, because this is something that is rare. So you want to take advantage of this energy, and you want to look at where it is in your chart. All these different, which are houses here, they all have a different meaning in astrology. So if you have an astrologer, ask the astrologer. I could do something for, a short Skype call. I have a short fee for just a small view of a transit that is taking place. And that can be done via Skype wherever you are. But you can contact me through my webpage, awareness-speaks.com, and set up a Skype session. Just go to my contacts page. Otherwise, if you know your astrology, look at your chart to see where 4 degrees is, and look where your Capricorn is. Not only Capricorn, but Cancer as well, because Cancer is the opposite sign of Capricorn, and anything that's in Capricorn, Cancer is 180 degrees across from it, so it will feel the energy as well. How it's felt is what is going to be different. So Capricorn, if you are a Capricorn, it may be more in your career sign. If you are a Cancer, it may be somewhere more emotional. It could be somewhere in your home. And depending where it is in your chart, also has a determination. And it could be in your career house, it could be in your home, it could be with school, it could be in business, it could be in partnerships, in your marriage, in your healing. All of these houses have a different representation. So that is why it is good to know a little bit about your astrology, so that you can prepare yourself when you have energy like this. You can let it slip by, or you can use it because it is there for a short time. And so that's why we bring awareness to it, because if you just allow it to move by, it's not going to. People might say, oh, nothing happened for me. A lot of times we have to put things in movement, or we have to, once we visualize something, we can have it come toward us. That's if it's meant to, okay? So during this December 26th, like I said, you're going to have Jupiter, the Sun, and Moon all within a degree in the sign of Capricorn. What's making this even more pleasant, and you have that Jupiter, which is expansion, is Uranus, which is the planet of the unexpected. It could bring, and it's at 2 degrees Taurus, making a trine with Jupiter and the Moon and the Sun. So someone could really find something exciting coming in for them during this time. And it may, if it doesn't happen right away, energy can switch within 6 months. So because a solar eclipse is so strong, it can take 6 months kind of to get through your chart, and then you could see a breakthrough, especially if this is close to certain areas in your chart. So you want to know everybody has Capricorn in their chart. Everyone does. We have all the signs. So when you were born, all the planets, just like right now, if someone was born on the 26th of December, this is what their astrology chart would be like. All these outer planets. They would have all these Capricorn signs. God forbid. I feel sorry for people who are going to be born around this time because that is a lot of Capricorn energy. But anyway, some great things can happen during this December 26th solar eclipse. So it's going to be a new moon solar eclipse. So since Jupiter is there, you might want to do some new moon wishes. Okay, you want to tap into that energy and make some wishes during that time. And you can do that, 24 to 48 hours after the solar eclipse. And I can quick give those times for the areas, different areas in the world. So in Los Angeles in California, the solar eclipse is going to take place December 25th. This is the 25th in California. At 10:13 p.m. In Chicago, it's going to be the 26th of December at 11:13 p.m. In New York, it's going to be December 26th at 13 minutes after midnight. London, it's going to be 5:13 a.m. France, it's going to be 6:13 a.m. Delhi, it's going to be 10:43 a.m. Sydney is 4:13 p.m. So you want to do these new moon wishes between 12 to 72 hours is stretching it, but after the new moon. And that's where you'll have the most energy. You can see some real openings with this solar eclipse, especially if some of your planets are close to this 4 degrees. Jupiter or Sun and Moon and Jupiter have 5 degrees. You could have something happen out of the blue. This is a nice energy. People should have a jolly Christmas, hopefully, because Jupiter is going to bring some light to this heavy Capricorn energy that we've been experiencing since 2008, but then for the last 2.5 years, Saturn has been in Capricorn as well, putting the pressure on Capricorn. And that's where we see even with Trump, this impeachment. This will be interesting. I will talk a little bit more about this with the lunar eclipse with Trump, because something might come to a head with this impeachment process. All right. So that is the solar eclipse. Now, so that's a lot of great energy, a lot of abundance with that energy. So work with it because it can bring something fortunate for you. Maybe a boost in your career, and it can open things up. If things have been stagnant, these solar eclipses are strong, and they push. What they do is they push the energy. So now we go to January 10th for the lunar eclipse. This one is a bit different. Of course, we always have to have the yin and the yang. We have the solar, which is the bright, the sunny, all the great stuff. And then we have the lunar, which is much more emotional. And when you have a lunar eclipse, it's like a full moon on steroids. It is a supercharged moon. And it's going to even be more so than a normal lunar eclipse, because this eclipse is taking place with the sun being at 20 degrees, almost 20 degrees Capricorn, and the moon being almost 20 degrees Cancer. Those two are opposite. So they're in their opposite signs. So even in astrology, every earth sign has an opposite water sign, and every fire sign has an opposite air sign, and vice versa. So these energies are going to be like this. So this is just one of these. Now, with the sun and the moon both being at 20 degrees Capricorn, we also have Mercury in Capricorn at 20 degrees. We have Saturn in Capricorn at 22 degrees, and we have Pluto in Capricorn at 22 degrees. So Pluto and Saturn are sitting right next to each other. They're both at 22 degrees, and in numerology, 22 equals power. Now, a little side note, I said I was going to talk about Trump. When Trump was born, his Saturn, I think it was at 23. I think it's at 23 degrees Cancer. So what is happening? So when he was born, Saturn was at the degree of 23 in the constellation zodiac sign of Cancer. If he was born today, his Saturn would be at the 22 degrees Capricorn. But what this means is, this is where astrology gets interesting. You look at where your planets were where you were born, and then you compare it to where the planets are now. And they are touching your energy field that you don't realize these planets are giving off. And when you're born and you take that first breath, the energy that was in the planets are part of your energy. So when there is movement, that is when it pushes things to happen. So that's why astrology, having readings, is really important if you want to plan. Because sometimes if there's no movement, it might be because you're not supposed to move. And all of a sudden there could be an opening and everything just changes like that. So this is what is happening now, and it's going to happen probably for a lot of Capricorns and Cancers. And maybe Aries and Libra as well, because they are cardinal signs. And if their energy is within the 4 degrees of the solar eclipse, which is at 4 degrees, if they're between 5 to 7 degrees of that 4 degrees, whether before or after, they could feel this as well very strongly. And so could other earth signs and water signs, because they're making a certain aspect. But you have to look at the degree. The degree is what matters. So with the lunar eclipse, with Pluto and Saturn being very close to each other, with Mercury being right there as well, and the sun, okay, so they're all in Capricorn. You have the moon, a lunar eclipse, in its own sign of Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. There is a lot of this going on. So emotions might be high. You might find this at work or at home, because Capricorn rules your public life and your work life and your career, let's say. And Cancer rules the home, the mother, the nurturing, the emotional part of yourself, your roots. So there may be triggers among family or co-workers. You just want to be aware, especially with Capricorns or Cancer, because this will be prominent in their chart. So you have the Pluto, the Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun all opposing the moon. This can be a stressful energy. Pluto is power. So just if anything comes up for you, this can also be a really healing time. If someone triggers you, or if you feel triggered in some sense, this will provide an opportunity. Because it's a full moon, it's a release time. So there can be a lot of healing with this. And not only that, we have Neptune, will be in a nice trine with the moon. Neptune is in the sign of Pisces, and it's at 16 degrees. And if the moon is in Cancer at 20 degrees, they're within that 5 degrees of each other. So they will feel each other. So a lot of intuition, people might feel intuition. They might feel their emotions stronger, especially if you have a lot of water in your chart. People might be more emotional. They might be more reactive. With Pisces, they may not know what's real or what isn't. But Pisces a lot of times brings healing with that Neptune energy. So a lot of healing and a lot of release can also take place at this time. So it will depend on you how you use this energy. Just, if you're going out, just beware of your surroundings, because we know with a full moon, people act crazy. And I hope I hope there are no more shootings in the U.S. And this does provoke, whenever I look at the astrology, it's usually when there's some harsh energy. And with this Pluto opposing the moon, just be careful of your reactions. I'm not perfect. Sometimes your emotions come up and you react, but if you can be more conscious of it, and that is why I warn people about this. It's not anything bad, and it may not happen to you, but if it does, just know that it will pass. And just know if you're starting to feel more emotional, a little melancholy, because sometimes Capricorn can feel that way, a little sadness, might feel a little depressed, especially over the holidays, after the holidays have left, know that the energy will pass. And Capricorns will begin to feel better because this Jupiter is in its element as well, and it's going to balance out some of that stronger energy that's been there for a while. So I am going to leave it at that. That is January 10th. So we will have some nice energy there on the 26th. And a little bit stronger energy on the 10th. Let me quick tell you where this is taking place. The full moon. In Los Angeles, January 10th, it's 11:21 a.m. In Chicago, it is 1:21 p.m. New York, it's 2:21 p.m. London, it's 7:21 p.m. Delhi, it's January 11th at 12:51 p.m. And Sydney, January 11th at 6:21. So with this full moon, let me just quick say one more thing, because I don't want to leave it on a bad note and make you fearful. What else this moon does bring is, if you have been working on something, because it's a moon, it's coming to a completion. It can bring a project to an end. You can see something coming out of the blue. You could what eclipses do is they push the energy forward, and you can finally see an opening of everything that you've been working for over the years. This can push the energy, and something can finally come to a head. So it doesn't just need to be emotional. You could also have some great conclusions at this time as well. So if you do the full moon lunar eclipse as well, you might want to do some releasing, ask for closure in certain areas, especially if there's any hurt feelings. If you want a project to come for a completion, ask for this at this time. You have Jupiter in Capricorn as well. That's going along with your outer world and your public and your work and career. Okay, and that is it. I tried my best to keep this. You have to keep the focus. There's so much with astrology, and that you really have to have an organized mind to keep this all going. So if you would like to learn more about me, or would like a brief astrology reading, or a full astrology reading, you can learn more about me at awareness-speaks.com. And you can contact me through the contact page. Again, my name is Tamra Sylvester, and I appreciate that you've watched my video. You can comment below if you have any questions, and I will do my best to answer them. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.